Okay, guys, so everybody, we're going to get started right now. This was a really fun idea that Andrew came to me with a few weeks ago. And we've got here, okay, we've got three people here, not two. So we've got Tom Batchelor, who's just joined us. And we've got Anand Roy, who is sitting here in the center. And we've got Andrew Jenkins from Universal Music Publishing. And they'll tell you a little bit more about themselves in just a second. But what we're going to do here is we're going to take a look at the music of Disney from a little bit of a different perspective than most people look at it. I think most people look at the music of Disney as being, sort of just entrenched in the Disney brand, that it only sits with the Disney brand. But what we're going to talk about here is Disney's music that's been licensed for brands and for television and film that's not Disney branded. So this is kind of exciting to me because this is ground that I've never covered before. So before we get into the video, why don't you guys give us a brief introduction of yourselves, who you are and what you do. So Tom, would you like to start?
Yeah, very briefly. Hello everyone, my name is Tom Batchelor. I'm the general manager for Studio. Can't hear me?
Turn on the mic.
Oh, that's a good start.
Yeah.
Hello. Hello. Better?
Yeah, there we go.
Hello. Hello everyone. My name's Tom Batchelor. I'm the general manager for studio, live entertainment and music across South Asia, which means that the teams that I work with take care of all of our film content and how that's distributed and marketed across the region. Any live theatre, live entertainment. So recently we've had The Lion King come here as an example of some of our live entertainment, and any of our music and how that is licensed and produced and presented across the region.
Wonderful. Anand?
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Anand Roy. I head up the music and live entertainment parts of Disney's business in South Asia.
Hi, I'm Andrew Jenkins. I'm president of Universal Music Publishing Asia Pacific region, and that's kind of a strange region. I'm going to explain it a little bit because it includes Australia, it includes all of Asia, it includes all of Africa, and it includes the Middle East. So it's a lot of territories you wouldn't normally associate with Asia Pacific, but it's a lot of them. And I'm very pleased to say that we're proud to represent Disney for its music in many of those territories, in most of those territories actually.
Excellent. So we've got three people here who really know the region and really know the music of Disney and also, the brand of Disney. So I guess the first question before we start off with our video, and we'll get into the video and start and stop as you feel appropriate because we're going to cover a lot of ground in it. But the first question I have for you is how does Disney, and either of you can answer this, how does Disney see the Southeast Asian market in terms of its music and in general?
Well, I can cover it certainly from a general perspective. So I guess if you look globally for Disney, if we look at our core principles, one of those core principles is what we refer to as storytelling with heart. And if that sounds a little bit too Disneyfied for the audience, then think of it more as storytelling with emotion or the emotional appeal. So from our point of view, in terms of how we build our brand and how we reach audiences across Southeast Asia, just as with any other region, we start with the emotional appeal and how we tap into those audiences. And we take some of the universal themes that are covered particularly in our movies, but across a lot of our content, and we look for what makes them locally relevant. And that might be something as simple, or not necessarily simple, but straightforward as localizing music, or it might be dubbing, or it might be particularly in the way that we shape our campaigns and how we reach audiences through our campaigns. And it's absolutely multifaceted. So for us, particularly from a film point of view, we're representing Marvel, Disney live action, Disney animation, Lucasfilm, Pixar. We have other brands as well, ESPN, etc. And so there are multiple touch points for various audience members. And then the final part really is how we leverage technology. And in this part of the world, with the strong digital penetration, strong mobile penetration across Southeast Asia in particular, and India as well, very, very strongly, that gives us a really, really positive way to reach audiences in a new, very innovative way that is appropriate to each of those different markets.
Right. So at the end of the day, it really isn't a small world after all when it comes to Disney's
It
music.
absolutely isn't.
All right. So my next question is for Anand. How is Disney's content used by brands and other companies outside of the Disney universe?
Well, that's a good question, Mark. Before I sort of go into that, I want to sort of set the scene, if you will,
Yeah.
in terms of why a lot of factors are sort of coming into play to magnify what Tom just said about the power of Disney's storytelling when it comes to music. So first of all, consumer affinity with music is increasing at an exponential rate. I mean, we've been seeing examples of it over the past 2 days across the various panels. But a couple of statistics tend to put that into very sharp focus. In 2015, the average American above the age of 13 used to listen to just under 3 hours of music a day. By the end of 2017, that number had gone up to over 5 hours. That is an exponential increase of engagement with music, which has not been seen before. Southeast Asia is following a very similar growth trajectory. Most of the markets here are already at 1.5 hour to a 2 hour, going up to a 3 hours per day per user engagement level. Now that basically means that there is a level of identification and a level of affinity with music that has not been seen before.
Wow.
Another development that's happened is over with the folks at Nielsen Entertainment. They have created an algorithm based off the work of Dr. Robert Heath from the University of Bath, who has devised a construct to measure the impact of music in advertising across emotion, across information, and across empathy. And what that algorithm has done, it has basically crystallized what we have all known for a while, that known music / popular music really increases the level of empathy that audiences feel when they look at a commercial.
Right.
They did a test sample with Hewlett Packard's commercials, and the one commercial that they had, which featured popular music, which was a Meghan Trainor track. That track actually rated 25% higher when it came to emotional empathy, when it came to identification, and even information exchange.
And let me ask a question.
Yeah.
Did they measure engagement as part of that as well?
Yes, yes.
And how did that rise?
So that was close to 35-40%
Wow.
compared to the rest of Hewlett Packard's commercials, which use non-known music. So in that context, when you add Disney's library, Disney's catalog, which is timeless, which is memorable, it becomes not just a compelling differentiator for a brand, but it becomes a key competitive advantage.
Absolutely. With
Yeah.
numbers like that.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
And, what is... Okay, so this follows on to that question. What's the reasonable perception of Disney and its music? How do you find it?
Well, so I think, like you said, Mark, at the beginning, that the general perception is that Disney's music is used across Disney's various franchises, across Disney's very broad ecosystem, as Tom just mentioned. But I think as we'll go through the show reel, you will see that we've worked quite extensively and with quite remarkable levels of success when it comes to engaging with that music.
Great. Well,
Yeah.
let's go through the visuals here.
Yes.
And we'll stop and start as we feel appropriate.
Absolutely.
You can just illuminate a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, so go ahead, Ray. Please play that. And this time, my panelists can sort of see. Okay, let's stop that for a second. That was that was some good advertising. So basically, what we've got there is we've got a little bit of integration of one of Disney's iconic brands, the Star Wars brand, the character Darth Vader, and of course the John Williams theme.
Absolutely. And that commercial actually won gold at the Cannes Lions in the year that it went up for nomination.
And what year was that?
2013.
2013.
Yeah,
okay, very good. That's incredible, and that really shows, what the power of Disney's music can do when you put it into an ad. But I mean, my question is, what's the criteria for you guys in terms of whether or not you're going to let one of your brands go into, somebody's advertising?
Well, obviously Disney's a very special entertainment company, and there's something quite unique about its brand.
Yeah.
All songs are brands. This is a very, let's start out. All popular songs, all songs that people know really well are brands. Disney happens to have a hell of a lot of them, all in one place, and they are incredible. So they have to be protected. They have to be used in a way that's clever and interesting and different and new. You don't want to just see the same visual images that you see in the movies. You want to see other things, like the child as Darth Vader is a very clever way of looking at this. So it's about coming up with ideas, I think, that are interesting to Disney, that add something to the music and the visual ideas that went into creating the original. You want to add something more, as well as see that music recognized for the value it has. It's something very strange about their music as well. And I just want to say just one thing about the music. Mostly when you're an advertiser and you're looking at using music, you're probably looking to see whether it hits your demographic. It is remarkable in the case of Disney, especially if you go back in terms of music from the earlier cartoon period. You'll look at things that people have carried all the way through their lives. So your demographic is not just children, it's the parents of children, it's the grandparents of children, it's those people who carry that music. So it's a very different demographic to regular popular music. It's a really interesting, different thing that's special to perhaps Disney.
Yeah, and also, I mean, it cuts across demographics, really, when it comes down to it. It's universal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not to,
like
use your
it,
name, but yes,
universal.
you're universal, yeah. Okay, let's go back to the video. Okay. Okay, let's stop it there for a second. So one of the things that Tom was saying in my ear while we were watching this was, there's a juxtaposition here, and I'm like, yeah, there's definitely a juxtaposition here of a couple of things that are kind of different from each other. You've got this, you've got like the excitement and the power of sport mixed with a song that's well, it's a children's song. It's a cute children's song. But it came together really nicely. So, you know, how did that happen? I mean, was it something that you guys came up with? Was it something where the creative at the agency came to you? Combination?
It was a combination, actually.
Right.
Gatorade was very aware that there are going to be a lot of football-based commercials in the space during the World Cup, and they will all use energetic, anthemic, epic tracks.
Right.
So they said we're going to go a little left of center and see if it works, and that's where it started. And we are very happy with how it's come out, as were they.
It came out really well. And one of the things that I was thinking while I was seeing that one and the other one was, you know, part of the whole thing of Disney's music being used in an ad or anything else is that it also has to make Disney look good at the end of the day. That's part of the like ulterior motive. Like it's beyond clever. It's beyond everything that we've talked about. It's also got to make Disney's brands look good. Like you've got to go, oh yeah, that's right. You know?
Well, it's also, I mean, you talked about, and Andrew mentioned it as well, that it crosses generations. So it's reinventing some of our older catalog for a new generation. And that's a really lovely combination in that particular ad where you have Disney, an iconic song, Gatorade, Real Madrid, you've got various celebrity footballers in there as well. So it sort of hits several different marks just in one go.
It resonates on different levels, and it impacts the music and the Disney brand as well as it does Real Madrid and everything.
I meant to say
Barcelona.
Not Real Madrid. Apologies.
I was going along with this guy. I thought I was a Barcelona fan, so I just messed up, man. Okay. Anyway, let's go back to the video again. Wow, that was pretty cool. It took me a while to figure out what was going on there. I was like, what's an Audi and a Mercedes and a Fiat doing in the same commercial?
With Mary Poppins.
Yeah, exactly, right? But it all came together really nicely. So tell us very briefly, what was the concept behind that?
No, so again, what the brand wanted to communicate was a sense of freedom.
Yeah.
That they're looking for a song which is iconic in terms of not being tied to anything, not being set to a routine, and basically the joy of exploration. And again, they wanted a song which would communicate all of that in the shorthand. And they chose
that was
this.
it.
Yeah. And
Perfect.
in fact, they were debating for a long time whether they should re-record the song to make it a little more contemporary. But
Right.
then they decided, no, it works just the way it is, and we'll just go black and white to make it look timeless.
That's wonderful. Yeah. That's really, really good. All right, let's take a look at the next video, please.
Sounds like you had a good time, sir.
This is good. This is good. I've seen this one. Yeah.
Good times.
Okay, stop that. All right, so that one is Hollywood Records. That's not one of the
Yes.
old style things. That's from Hollywood Records
Yeah.
and Queen, right?
Yes, yes. So the first question that we get is, why are we taking credit for a Queen song? Well, in North America, we have the rights to the Queen catalog.
Right.
So this was a commercial made by a North America team, and as we go down a few more of the examples, we will see a few more of our artists who fortunately we have rights for across the world. Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, I'm gonna, in the interest of time, I'm gonna go to 2 more commercials, if that's okay, and then we'll wrap it up. So let's see. So let's go to the next one, Ray. Thank you. That's good. That's a good one. Yeah.
Easy peasy. The new Ford C-Max with hands-free liftgate to help you go further.
Okay, stop. I think one of the things that's really interesting about that is that obviously it's an adorable song from a movie that many people love, and the car is kind of adorable in its own way, and so's the kid and the little toy gorilla. So you've just got this like bundle of adorableness that Disney sort of puts like the icing on, right?
Yes, well said, Mark.
Thank you. And was that something that you guys put together alongside the brand, or did they just come to you and go, hey, we want to do this?
No, again, this was an example of where the brand wanted a very compelling differentiating factor in a very crowded advertising market, and then they used the song to create a very clear and competitive advantage.
Excellent. Okay, and now we're going to do one last one. I wish we could keep going forever because these are really entertaining, but I've got to respect the rest of the panelists and all of you because we've got a lot of ground to cover. So let's go to the next one. Okay, stop. What was interesting about that one to me is that, first of all, it's not what an artist that people would think, oh, that's Disney automatically.
Yeah,
It's something
yeah.
outside of that.
Yeah.
And also, it was something where, a lot of people might not necessarily know the artist.
Absolutely.
So there's a lot of that in your catalog?
Yeah. So this is an artist called Ocean Park Standoff,
Right.
who are just starting to pop. I'm sure Andrew will be able to add to that as well. And they are part of a whole bunch of artists that we represent as part of a Hollywood Records label.
Right.
And they because they are making music now, they find a very good fit with supposedly younger brands, millennial brands, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely a perfect example of that. And the other side of the Disney business, which is the Hollywood Records business, and working with young contemporary artists and creating a link with those sort of brands. What I think is also interesting when you look at a number of these commercials, and you mentioned brands and earlier on, and we were talking about it, and these are really good brands. These are, what you're looking at is top level, first class brands. And going back to your very first question, I think it was to us, where you said, what would make Disney decide to work with people? It is, this is top class entertainment. Disney is as top class in the entertainment world as you get. And so they want to work with top class brands. They are a top class brand and they want to work with top class. And that's what I think we're seeing here. Yeah. And even when you come down, as we say, to the younger Hollywood Records element, this is a really good brand to work with, Hollister. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
And we've had a lot of success identifying very good artists with Hollywood records. So Selena Gomez, Demi Lovato were all Hollywood records finds, and they were with us for a very long time till Andrew and his team took them away, which is a different panel altogether. That's a different panel.
That's
altogether.
another panel. Yeah, exactly. Okay, very good. So then to wind it up, if people want to work with you, they want to engage with you, they want to learn more, and you know what? I'm going to try to make a promise here, if it's okay with you guys. Maybe I'll take that video, I'll put it on a website that I can send a link out to people, and they can watch the whole thing if they want to.
Sure.
Okay, that'll make it
Sure,
easier. I feel bad that we can't watch the whole thing. But with that said, if people want to engage with you, ask questions, etc., how do they do it?
Well, I mean, one of the things we're going to be doing straight after this is we're going to be sending out emailers to all ad agencies all over Southeast Asia with our, and I'm just going to say our, because it's not actually our, with my, not quite my either, because it's my office, favorite top 10 Disney songs. And we're going to encourage people to send us their top 10 Disney songs and not, so we want some feedback. We want this to go both ways. What are we want to see what the ad agencies come back with. Do they come back with the same ones? I'm not going to let them, actually they can't come back with the same ones. I'm going to stop them saying, no. On the email it's going to say, here's my top 10. What is yours? Please tell us. And we might have some fun with that later on. But this is such an enormous catalogue.
Yeah.
Everybody will have songs that they grew up with, things they want to see in that list. And so we're going to see who's, and that's going to be one of the first ways we engage as Universal on behalf of Disney, as their outsource agent, if you like, in this respect.
As our partner.
As our partner, yeah. Thank you. And we're going to see what the response is. We're going to see, hopefully we're going to see a very interesting response. I would love agencies, marketing people to think about Disney differently, to come up with clever and interesting ideas so that we could actually go back, and it would be really fun to go back to LA with an idea that came from this region and say, what do you think of this? This is extra. We've never seen anything like this, and we'd love you to say yes. That would be very exciting.
That would be absolutely awesome. And you know what? I do love the top 10 list idea. I want to see how that progresses. So definitely keep me in the loop on that. Yeah. All right, everybody. Well, I want you to give our panel a thank you for being here. Please give them a round of applause.